they're called championship rings for a reason because we get in a ring and we talk wrestling. And there is a PLE going down this weekend with the Elimination Chamber, but I do want to start off by telling about it was official on Monday Night Raw that he is not leaving to go to another promotion. This was not a gimmick or character act that he was losing the Gunther at the Royal Rumble. AJ Styles left his ring jacket, he left his gloves in the middle of the ring, and he is now not only officially retired, but he is entering the WWE Hall of Fame in April.
The only thing I didn't like about it is that, like, at the beginning of the show, you had Michael Cole and Corey Graves in the ring talking about it. Gunther comes out and cuts a whole promo, which I loved that promo, by the way. And I was hoping Gunther would come back out during the AJ segment, in which you knew it was going to close the show. But I was hoping Gunther would come out and say something to kind of just stir the pot again. Like, not to insinuate that the feud was going to continue or that the retirement wasn't real or anything like that, but just to kind of continue to poke the bear a little bit. You get what I mean?
Well, that's why I don't think you do it. No, I actually completely disagree with you. I love the way they did it. You do the Gunther heat at the start of the show. You know, you have Gunther come out, you talk about, this isn't about AJ Styles, this is about me. I'm sick and tired of all these retirements. Why are you rooting for AJ? He's an old man. Then whatever feud you're doing with Dragon Lee or whatever you want to do to get him on television, you have Dragon Lee attack Gunther, but you get Gunther out of the building because this is a real retirement. It's a real ceremony. AJ's family is in the front row. His kids are in the front row. You bring in the freaking Undertaker, for Christ's sake, to celebrate the career of the Phenomenal One over the last 10 years in WWE. And then his, 13-ish plus run in TNA and New Japan Pro Wrestling. They even brought Abyss, Frankie Kazarian. Bobby Roode was shown. He's a backstage producer now in WWE, but the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows were there.
I loved that. The OC was one of my favorite factions in WWE.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't like about the OC was it took away AJ Styles' theme song, which is still, in my opinion, a top 5 theme song maybe ever in WWE.
Easily. I don't know. There was just something about when the OC was together. I'm like, okay, I want to watch this. Like, Gallows and Anderson, they're so good as a tag team. And I just thought the way AJ was able to make it work with them.
I think AJ got them more over than I think they did on their own when they were without AJ. That was my take. Maybe you could argue that's WWE booking, but that's my take on it.
And that's probably the reason why I liked them so much together, was because AJ was able to elevate them. I liked them as a tag team before they linked up with AJ, but you never really got to see Gallows and Anderson a lot. But when they linked up with AJ, it seemed like they had more of a presence. And it was like, oh, Gallows and Anderson, they're actually a good tag team.
So I've been a fan of the Phenomenal One. I think I told you this. Back in my young days, probably 2008, 2009, 2010-ish, I used to watch TNA every single week. That's where I learned about Beer Money and James Storm, Bobby Roode, Sting, Kurt Angle, Jeff Hardy. That TNA era, Jeff Jarrett was in there. And AJ was maybe my favorite wrestler. So I always loved AJ Styles. And the one thing that you could say about AJ is this. No, he was truly phenomenal. Outside of Shawn Michaels, maybe the best in-ring worker of all time. He can literally do anything. He can have a match with Shane McMahon and tear the freaking house down. He can be a world champion. He can be a U.S. champion, Intercontinental Tag Team champion. Rivalries with Kevin Owens and John Cena and Sami Zayn and Jeff Hardy. I'll never forget the match he had with Daniel Bryan in the middle of the pandemic that was 40 minutes in front of glass in the Performance Center for the Intercontinental Championship. To this day, it's one of my favorite matches in the history of SmackDown because of the performance those two put on. AJ never had a bad match. Would I have won for him and The Undertaker to go one-on-one, not in a boneyard match because of the pandemic? Yes. And AJ's body over the last few years has been breaking down a lot. It sort of betrayed him. I would argue he wasn't as much of a high flyer as he was 3, 4, 5 years ago, but he could still do the little things. He could cut a promo. He could be a babyface and he could be a heel the next minute.
I liked him better.
Talented.
I liked him better as a heel overall. That's part of the reason why, for me, his feud with LA Knight is one of my 3 favorites for him all time. Like
all time. That's high praise.
My 3 favorite AJ Styles feuds overall. Number 1 is AJ versus Randy at WrestleMania 35.
Wait, that's your all-time favorite AJ Styles feud?
Yes, easily. And that's
easily.
And that's partially because I'm a huge Randy Orton fan as well. I think Randy is the GOAT, not John Cena. Mr. RKO is the GOAT, not Cena. No, you will not change my mind on that, although I will hear your argument. But just the way that feud started, it was like, it started out as like friendly competition of comparing resumes, but then the promos they started cutting on each other, like talking about their past, and Randy bringing up the fact that AJ came from the Indies, and like you guys never ripped anybody off, and he did this sign. And I'm like, this is great. I love this. And I absolutely loved their match at Mania 35. Like, you never see anybody kick out of the RKO, and AJ did. So it was just awesome. It's just, no pun intended, but it was phenomenal. And then my number 2 favorite WrestleMania feud of all time for AJ is WrestleMania 40 against LA Knight.
Well, I wasn't calling WrestleMania feuds. I was just talking about feuds in general.
I'm talking about WrestleMania feuds specifically.
Oh, okay. My favorite feud of his all time is easily the John Cena feud. It's a feud and I'm talking about the early one in 2016 that led to what I still think is maybe the greatest match I've ever seen. Cena and AJ at the Royal Rumble in 2017.
Oh, I thought you were going to reference the SummerSlam match.
No, I thought the Rumble match was better, and they almost topped it at Crown Jewel this year. And what's funny about that, I don't know if you heard, Cena was on a podcast recently, and AJ had told him, hey, I'm going to retire at the Rumble. And Cena said, he's not getting a farewell tour like me. Well, I'm going to give him a farewell tour here in Australia. And that's how they came up with the match at Crown Jewel.
Yeah. But I will say this, Mania 35, that's my favorite AJ feud of all time. And that's easily, I will say that.
Let me ask you a quick question, because I know we got to move on and talk a little bit about the chamber here. Do you think AJ headlines this 2026 class, or is it going to be Steph?
I would think it's going to be AJ. By the way, I know there's a lot of criticism about why is AJ going in the Hall of Fame, but not Cena. Don't worry. John Cena will go in next year. It's really not a big deal.
But wait, oh my God, does this mean John Cena's not a first ballot Hall of Famer?
It does, I guess.
You see where I'm going with this?
Yes, I do. By the way, can I just say this? I love that, like, we get people going into the WWE Hall of Fame. I love it. AJ's one of my all-time favorites. If I were to make just a WWE Mount Rushmore, he would for sure be on it alongside Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton. That would be my WWE Mount Rushmore.
Oh, that's your WWE Mount Rushmore. Not The Undertaker, not Stone Cold, not John Cena, not The Rock, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins. Okay. That is a conversation I don't want to argue with. I think the only thing in history me and you have ever agreed on when it comes to wrestling is that AJ Styles is both one of our favorites.
But my point overall is this. I love that we have Hall of Famers and we can debate who's on the Mount Rushmore and all this and that. I wish there was an actual Hall of Fame museum. I want to, that would be so cool for some of AJ's stuff to be on display for fans like you and me to be able to go and see.
Like WWE and A&E had this show I used to watch back in the day. It was called, I think, like Most Wanted Treasures, where they go and they find these artifacts that collectors have had in their house of like real superstar stuff. I thought it was to build a Hall of Fame. I don't know if COVID stopped that. I don't know if the purchase by TKO stopped that. But I know there was plans for it at one time, and it sounds like it's not happening anymore.
Yeah, I really wish there was a Hall of Fame like museum. But unfortunately, now we have to get to the Elimination Chamber. I really don't have an interest in this show at all. I truly don't. The only match that like is somewhat interesting to me is AJ Lee against Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Other than that, no. Like, I don't care, I'm saying it. I don't like CM Pinky against Finn Balor. We all know that Pinky, or I'll call him his actual name, CM Punk, is going to retain. Because you're not changing that championship match at WrestleMania. It is going to be Pepsi Phil versus the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, in the main event of WrestleMania. We all know that's going to happen. I think Dominic Mysterio will turn on Finn. That sets up that WrestleMania feud.
Well, wait. I got to address that real quick because here's my question, because I've been thinking about this out loud. If they're going to go with Liv versus Stephanie Valkyrie for the Women's World Championship,
that was made official on Raw.
Yes, which is clearly the direction. Can you still turn the Judgment Day without turning Liv and Raquel? Because I'm wondering now, are you going to wait till after WrestleMania to do the whole Judgment Day split? Because I don't know how you split Dom and Finn, but then Liv and Raquel are still together. I don't know how that works.
It's going to be confusing, I believe, but I do think WrestleMania will be the end of the Judgment Day. But, you know, like that, do
you think the Judgment Day gets involved here, tries to help Finn, they don't get physical. Maybe there's a referee distraction or whatever off the coup de grace. That's how Finn loses, and then the next night he just attacks the Judgment Day.
I think it wouldn't surprise me if Dom deliberately gets involved and costs Finn the match.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that would be one way to go about it. So
even though, like, you know, we had that backstage segment where it was like, well, when you guys were out, you didn't help me, or whatever, or however that promo.
You know what's crazy? We all thought that it was going to be the turn last year when Dom beat Finn for the Intercontinental title. He pinned him in that Fatal 4-Way that involved Braun Breaker and Penta at WrestleMania. I thought Dom was going to turn into a massive babyface with Liv Morgan, and now they're going to be the heels.
By the way, that whole segment with Liv bringing out both Jade and Stephanie, that was stupid to me. Like there was no reason for Jade to be there.
You do that because she has to make her choice, right? I mean, they've done that back in the day. I would have. I said that's what I would have done if I was them with Roman. I would have had Roman not decide until the Elimination Chamber. I would have wanted for them to have both of Liv and Roman not pick their champions yet, and you have to guess which champion is the Elimination Chamber people are going to fight for. That's just me.
But it's the men's Elimination Chamber where I really don't care, because we all know who is going to win? Oh, I don't know. Corporate Roman? Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. Corporate Cody. Can't stand him at all. I am so sick and tired of him being shoved down our throats. And, oh, it's WrestleMania. He has to fight for the championship, or he has to be the champion going into it. No, he does not. He does not. Give him something else. He does not have to be involved in a championship picture going into WrestleMania. I don't care. I don't like you at all, Cody Rhodes. I don't. The only thing I like about Cody Rhodes is his entrance music. But even that has been ruined because of all the stupid freaking pyro that goes along with him.
Were you the one that was pushing for Cody to finish his story?
Trust me, looking back, I sincerely regret saying all of that.
Okay, so I didn't get a chance to say this at the Royal Rumble, and I wish I did, and I forgot to say it on the show, so I'm going to say it now. It's not a shot at you at all, I promise. It's a shot at every wrestling fan, including myself. Wrestling fans are the biggest hypocrites on the face of the earth because they will turn on you in 1 second flat. Last year at the Royal Rumble, everybody said, "Oh my God, John Cena didn't win. I can't believe they gave it to Jey Uso." And then this year they say, "Why did Roman Reigns win?" They never give it to an up-and-coming new star. They never build any stars. They just did the year before in Jey Uso, and he didn't like it. 2 years ago, everybody said, "Cody needs to finish his story. I love Cody Rhodes." And now, a year later, and even 2 years later, now going to the WrestleMania 42, everybody's saying, "Why did they give the belt to Cody? Cody should have never been champion. Oh, he's so boring." How do you guys change your opinion like that on the drop of a dime? And that happens to everybody. Every time some big babyface wins a championship, within 6 months, they want him to turn heel. Exact thing happened to Seth Rollins in 2019. The exact thing is going to happen to damn near Sami Zayn if he eventually wins a world championship. It's almost happening to Cody now, who's basically a babyface getting booed out by most people. I mean, the crowd the other night on SmackDown completely booed Sami Zayn when he apologized to Cody because I want to see Sami kick Cody's teeth down his throat.
The rumor now is that they're going to do like a fatal 5-way at WrestleMania.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought this up because Josh, you're going to think I'm crazy because I don't have Cody Rhodes winning the Elimination Chamber.
Good. I like this. Tell me more.
I don't have Randy Orton winning the Elimination Chamber.
Okay, I don't like this, but I still want to hear any more anyway.
You know who I have winning the Elimination Chamber?
Whoop that trick?
Whoop that trick.
Oh, I like
that trick because there is going to be all of this interference. Now, I think the Brunson Reed injury, which is unfortunate, I think it's a conversation that we have to have because Cody actually had it on his podcast with Jey Uso about, I think WWE and I think AEW does as well. I think these guys need to wrestle more. I think we need to bring back more house shows. There's too many injuries happening right now in wrestling across the board, and I think a lack of wrestling is because of that. But
from everything I read, by the way, since you brought up Bronson Reed, I just figured I would mention this. From what I've read, they had to completely change the ending of that triple threat match.
Yep.
Because the Masked Man was supposed to get involved along with Logan Paul. Bronson was supposed to win that match, by the way. But from everything I'm reading, it seems like they're having to change everything with the Masked Man now because of this Bronson Reed injury. And
so here's my thought. What if you had LA Knight, Jey Uso start the match? You could have like Trick Williams enter in third, Javon enter in fourth, you have Randy Orton enter in fifth, and you have Cody enter in last, or whatever order you want to do it. Let's say you have Jey Uso trying to run it back and doing his yeet thing, and all of a sudden LA Knight just catches him. BFT, bam, Jey Uso's the first out. You could have Randy Orton deliver, Javon's going for the OG cutter, Randy catches him with an RKO, bam, Javon's out. So you're down to 4 there. between Randy Orton, LA Knight, Cody Rhodes, and Trick Williams. I was going to have the Vision come down and try to create a distraction, and that's how Cody beats LA Knight. Maybe you just have Orton over an RKO or Cody over the Crossroads, LA Knight gets beat clean. So now we're down to 3 people. You're down to Cody, Randy Orton, and Trick Williams. My thought is, what if, let's say, Cody hits the Crossroads on Orton, but Drew McIntyre comes down, he gets in the cage somehow. Maybe he has like LA Knight's leaving the cage. McIntyre gets inside the cage. Bam, there is a Claymore to Cody, right?
Well, we've seen that type of spot before. Remember that we saw that with Logan Paul and Seth Rollins.
Yep.
We saw that with AJ Styles flew halfway around the world just so he could beat LA Knight with a chair. Right. That's why that was one of my favorite AJ Styles WrestleMania feuds.
But then,
he flew halfway around the world just to beat him with a chair.
Then what if Jacob Fatu comes down and starts beating up Drew? Cody gets up, he's delirious. Well, what if Fatu takes out Cody Rhodes too? And now McIntyre and Fatu are fighting inside the chamber. Randy Orton tries to get involved. He catches a Claymore kick from McIntyre, whatever the case may be. And by the end, Orton and Cody are both laid out. Trick Williams basically beats them both. Trick Williams wins the chamber because now what you have is Randy Orton got screwed. Cody got screwed. Jacob Fatu still wants Drew. Drew still has a rivalry, obviously, as a champion. Trick Williams won the damn thing, and Trick Williams is feuding with Sami Zayn. You can force Sami Zayn, who still has a rivalry going on with Drew, as well as maybe Cody. What if you put all 6 of them in there? Here's what I would do to main event night 1. You do a 6-person Hell in a Cell with Drew, Randy, Cody, Jacob, Trick Williams, and Sami.
Interesting.
That's how I do it. Now, the most likely scenario is the one you said. Cody's going to win, and they're going to move on, and they're going to do Cody versus Drew, potentially. But to me, if you want to shock, if you want to do something shocking, have Trick Williams win the whole damn thing.
I'm telling you now, if Cody wins the Elimination Chamber, any excitement I have for WrestleMania vanishes into thin air.
I think either way, Cody is walking out of WrestleMania as the undisputed champion. I just don't know if he's going to do it by winning the chamber or not.
God, if that happens, I'm going to be so pissed.
Now, for the woman, and I've said this, that's why Jade Cargill is probably the
Rhea Ripley. Sorry,
you think they're going to go with Rhea? Because here's my thing. Why would you build this entire women's tag team division up and then not have Rhea in that division at WrestleMania?
From all I read, it was supposed to be Bianca versus Jade at Mania 42, but that's obviously not happening. You're not going to do Tiffany Stratton versus Jade. We already have seen that match. I don't need to see it again. I don't need to see it again.
I think you could rebook Tiffy versus Jade. I think you could have Tiffy win.
No, thank you. I'm good.
I think Tiffany is the most logical person. I have Tiffany Stratton winning the Women's Elimination Chamber and regaining the title from Jade because I think that makes the most sense. Rhea winning, unless you were going to run Rhea versus Io for the title, doesn't make any sense. What are you going to do with Io Sky that everybody likes this stupid thing, whatever this stupid thing is? What are you going to do with her if Rhea Ripley's in a world title match? Like you might as well have that.
Hold on.
More sense to have Charlotte be in the chamber or have Alexa face Jade, and you have that dissension going on where the other's jealous and the other has a title match compared to Rhea and Io.
Well, you could do Io versus Julia for the U.S. Championship. Take the tag titles.
Julia needs to be cut. I don't advocate for people to lose their jobs. Julia is the worst wrestler I've ever seen. She has no charisma. She has no personality. She gets no reaction, and she's unsafe in the ring. Okay,
I have to say part of that is the way they have booked that women's U.S. championship. It has been terrible.
Okay, but she has got no reaction. She came up on the main roster over a year ago. And Stephanie Valkyrie got a reaction until she became champion, and she hasn't gotten a reaction since. I can't wait till they take the title off her.
Yeah. Honestly, like, I'm not that interested in WrestleMania right now. WWE's going to have to pull something out of their butt to really get me interested. I want to be interested in WrestleMania. I do. Trust me. I'm not saying all this because I'm a bigger AEW fan. I genuinely want to be interested in WrestleMania. But right now, I'm just like,
I will tell you what I will be disappointed in. If WrestleMania becomes Drew versus Cody, Randy versus Aleister Black, Gunther versus Rey Mysterio, that will disappoint me for WrestleMania if that's what we get.
Yeah, I don't want Randy versus Aleister. Like, that feud does nothing for me. Sammy versus Trick, I like that feud. If that's the direction they're going in. The rumor is they're going to do Brock versus LA Knight. No, thank you. Brock.
No, I doubt it. No, they're not going to do that now. Why would they do that now? Brock's issuing an open challenge. So that doesn't make any sense. I think Brock's just going to come out to the ring, and I think Obafemi's making his way out. And I think Obafemi is going to beat Brock Lesnar. It's going to be one of the most major pops of the entire weekend. Oba is going to defeat Brock, and Brock is going to come back as a baby face in a few months and say, maybe I don't have it anymore. I'm looking for one more match. And Gunther comes out. And Brock versus Gunther with Brock's career on the line is your main event for night 2 of SummerSlam.
And hopefully Gunther retires him.
And Gunther will win because it's in Brock's hometown of Minneapolis. Like, I think that's been the plan since Brock came back almost a year ago.
By the way, I love that Gunther has become the career killer. It is just awesome.
I mean, if they ran Gunther versus Randy Orton, that would make me happy. But it seems like Randy's going to be involved in this feud with Drew.
Yeah, that became obvious.
I think, part of me thinks they're so worried that they put themselves in a corner that now every match Gunther has to put somebody's career on the line if they're a legend.
Yeah, I would have loved just career killer versus legend killer. Thank you.
I mean, it could have been, and I was excited for WrestleMania once the Royal Rumble happened, but I admit to you, my excitement's died down a little bit. It could pick right back up though, depending on how this chamber goes down.
I think AJ Lee's gonna win the Intercontinental Championship, even though it's in Chicago? Probably not.
That is a weird one. They're saying she's from Chicago. No, she's not. She's from New Jersey. She lives in Chicago because she's married to Punk.
I don't know, but
I think that's going to end in DQ, and I think that's going to be another WrestleMania match with a stipulation. That's when AJ's going to win the title.
Yeah, or they have Becky win via shenanigans. But honestly, like, that's the only match where I'm like, oh, I'm actually interested. Like, the women's Elimination Chamber, like, there's no way Kiana James is winning. So,
I do like the fact, though, that they are putting these young cats, Kiana, Trick, Siobhan. It would have been very easy to put Charlotte and, Gunther and Brock in the chamber, which would have been star power. I would have been excited, but I want to see what these young kids can do. I have said this before. WWE may be in a downturn right now. From everything I've heard from you and other people, they are really preferring AEW right now. But WWE is also going for a transition period right now of young stars. It's very similar to the transition period they went through in 2002 with John Cena, Randy Orton, Batista, Brock. We'll see if these kids can work out, but that is the vibe I'm getting from this current era.
What's going to make me really sad is when Randy Orton announces he's retiring. Because, again, like I said,
yeah,
he is the GOAT. I know he doesn't have as many championships as John Cena, but for me, that doesn't matter.
This year in wrestling, we've got the retirements of AJ Styles. I think we're going to get Edge, sadly, or Adam Copeland. I think we're probably going to get Jericho, though who knows? And Jericho's not going to be in the box because guess what? His contract's still frozen by AEW, reportedly.
We forgot to talk about the mystery crate, which
I don't even know what's going to be in it. I'm excited because I don't know what the hell is going to be in this thing. Is it going to be an object? It's not going to be a superstar, I don't think. Is it going to be an object?
I think it's going to be
a superstar.
Very nice, very evil. Danhausen.
No one knows who that is. That's the problem with that watching. It's got to be someone the casual audience knows. To me, you can't have someone hide behind a box. When they come out, it has to be a pop. It can't be who the hell is that?
I think it's going to be Danhausen.
I think that would be a mistake because I don't even know what the hell the guy looks like. I don't even know who he is.
He had a run in AEW. It was funny. Like, he didn't even really do anything.
That's my point, though, because I've told you this before. Most WWE fans, if you know this, most WWE fans do not watch AEW. Most WWE fans don't even watch NXT, which is why they have to introduce the NXT stars when they come up to the main roster. So if you're going to put a guy in a box, it's got to be like Seth Rollins or somebody, is my take.
Yeah, but we'll see if they change the masked man, because
maybe it's the masked man in the box.
Honestly, like, but that's what I'm saying is, like, it feels like.
Do you want it to be like a segment, or do you want it to be like in the Elimination Chamber? All of a sudden, there's just an explosion as the box opens up.
Like, honestly, like, what
if it's a woman? I mean, what if it's, I don't know. What if it's Britt Breaker? Doubt it. Who knows?
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, me personally, I don't really care. Like, it's, like,
I think it's going to end up being, like, Braun Breaker's head. Like a replica of, like, Braun Breaker's head or something like that. It's going to be some object.
Like, do not open until Elimination Chamber in Chicago. Like, let's send it to Smack.
I have always loved these storylines, though. I love what they did with Austin Theory at Survivor Series a few years ago. Who stole the egg? I like these mystery storylines.
I hated that who stole the egg story.
Who stole the egg? I mean, that's a classic right out of Vince McMahon. And as Jim Cornette said this week on his podcast, he told Vince McMahon once, if you have somebody come out of a box, they're automatically over.
Yeah. I do think it's ultimately going to be Jericho, or it's going to be like a countdown clock or something.
I mean, if the rumors are to believe, Jericho is still under AEW contract.
I don't know. That whole thing is so confusing.
He hasn't been on AEW in what, though? Over a year?
Yeah. I think he's on tour with Fozzy, but that tour ends soon, so he would be available for Elimination Chamber.
If it is Jericho, I'm immediately making him a heel and booking him in a match at WrestleMania against LA Knight. That's my feud.
Yeah. I'm disappointed about the lack of follow-up for Powerhouse Hobbs after the Royal Rumble. It hasn't
even been on television since the Rumble.
The only time, from what I've seen, the only time he's been on TV is them showing clips of him on Stephanie McMahon's podcast. Like,
you are correct with that.
Like, put him in a damn match or something.
Maybe it's Powerhouse Hobbs in the box.